In a quaint Ukrainian village, nestled between vast fields of sunflowers, lived a woman named Odarka. She was known for her kindness, always pushing her front door open to offer freshly baked bread or a warm cup of tea to neighbors in need. Her heart, filled with love and warmth, shone brightly. However, her son, Andriy, a once promising young man, grew increasingly embittered by the world. He had drifted away from the values she instilled in him, becoming selfish and resentful. One chilly autumn evening, after yet another argument with Andriy, who had blamed her for his failures, Odarka made the hardest decision of her life. With tears in her eyes, she gathered a small suitcase, her precious memories and a few belongings, determined to seek a new beginning. She decided to move to Poland, where a distant cousin had promised to help her find work. The possibility of leaving her beloved village filled her with a mix of dread and hope. Upon arriving in Poland, Odarka felt like a fish out of water. The moment she stepped off the train, she was overwhelmed by the unfamiliar sights, sounds, and smells. The station was bustling with life, people speaking a language that flowed like a beautiful melody yet sounded utterly foreign to her. Fear gripped her heart. How would she communicate? Where would she stay? How would she earn money? Her cousin, Marek, greeted her with a warm hug and a friendly smile. "Welcome, Odarka. Don't worry, we'll figure it all out together." His optimism helped dispel some of her anxiety, yet the reality of her new life soon set in. Marek lived in a small town just outside of Warsaw, surrounded by busy streets filled with shops and cafes. Odarka's days began to blend together as she navigated her new environment with the help of simple phrases learned from Marek. However, she struggled to understand conversations and often felt lost in the lively chatter around her. To help, Marek found her a job at a local bakery. The owner, a kind-hearted woman named Helena, understood Odarka's situation and patiently taught her how to knead dough, shape pastries, and interact with customers. Though Odarka loved the smell of fresh bread and the warmth of the ovens, the language barrier left her feeling isolated. Conversations flew over her head like birds, leaving her feeling like a silent observer in a world that continued to spin around her. Days turned into weeks, and Odarka found solace in her work, but her heart ached for the connection she had lost with her son. She often thought of Andriy, reflecting on the struggles they had faced together and how their bond had frayed. Despite the pain, she hoped he would eventually come to understand the sacrifices she had made for him. Late at night, she penned letters to him, pouring her heart into each word, hoping to express her love and longing, though she never sent them. The other bakers in the shop soon became fond of Odarka. They brought her small treats to sample, and slowly, she learned to smile and nod even when she didn't fully grasp the conversation. Each day was a small victory as she faced her fears. However, the weekends were the hardest. Marek often had plans, leaving her alone in the tiny apartment they shared. She missed the laughter of her village, the conversations she once had, and the comfort of being understood. One particularly lonely Sunday, as Odarka wandered through the streets of her town, she stumbled upon a small park. Children played, their laughter ringing out like music, and a group of elderly men were playing chess on weathered benches. She sat down on a bench, feeling a strange pull towards the lively scene. Suddenly, an elderly woman named Babcia Zofia approached her. With a warm smile, she greeted her in broken Ukrainian, the language Odarka could understand. Babcia Zofia began to talk about her beloved garden and shared stories of her youth. They spent the afternoon talking, laughing, and enjoying each other's company.
For the first time since her arrival, Odarka felt a flicker of connection, overriding the loneliness that had shadowed her life. Over the weeks, Odarka forged a blossoming friendship with Babcia Zofia. They met regularly in the park, sharing stories, laughter, and delicious baked goods. Zofia even helped Odarka learn basic Polish, teaching her words and phrases that built upon her confidence. Together, they would laugh over a shared piece of cake, language barriers slowly breaking apart in the warmth of their friendship. Simultaneously, Odarka grew bolder at work. Encouraged by Helena and her fellow bakers, she began to experiment with recipes from her homeland. The smell of vareniki wafting through the bakery attracted customers who were enthralled by the unique flavors. Soon, Odarka became known not just as the shy newcomer but as a talented baker with a knack for bridging cultures through food. As her bakery talents flourished, she slowly saved a bit of money. One evening, filled with a surge of confidence, Odarka placed an ad in a local newspaper, offering Ukrainian cooking classes. To her surprise, the response was overwhelming. In just a few weeks, her little apartment transformed into a gathering spot for eager learners, all wanting to discover her culinary secrets. They laughed together, shared stories from their lives, and for the first time since her arrival, Odarka felt a vibrant connection to her new community. One fateful evening, as she prepared for a class, her phone rang. It was Andrei. Her heart sank at first, remembering their last conversation filled with pain and anger. After a deep breath, she answered, her voice shaky. "Hello, Mama, I'm sorry for how I treated you," he spoke, his tone soft, almost pleading. "I've been thinking about you a lot lately." Odarka felt tears welling in her eyes. She listened as Andrei shared his struggles, how life had not turned out the way he had envisioned. He spoke of loneliness and regret, and it became clear that he was searching for understanding and forgiveness. Odarka's heart swelled as she listened to her son open up, revealing vulnerability she hadn't seen in years. "I miss you, Andrei. I never stopped loving you," she said gently. Their conversation lasted for hours, both of them shedding the layers of resentment that had kept them apart. After the call ended, Odarka sat in silence, overwhelmed by a sense of hope. Perhaps there was a chance to rebuild her relationship with her son after all. As the seasons changed, so did Odarka's life. No longer a timid woman filled with uncertainty, she had bloomed into a vibrant presence in the community. Her baking classes thrived, and friendships deepened. And while she faced the difficulty of living in a foreign land, she had also embraced the beauty of newfound connections, proving that kindness and resilience could light the darkest paths. In her heart, she carried the lessons of her past with hope for the future, knowing that she had the power to create a home, wherever she may be. And in the end, she realized that love, whether for her son, her new friends, or herself, was the true essence of life, guiding her through every hardship and joy that lay ahead.